Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we've got something rather important to talk about. As you may or may not be aware, the folks at Cubicle 7 have just announced a new pack for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay known as Up in Arms, and there's a lot of interesting things that they've just put out in the announcement, and we really need to talk about this because there's quite a little bit of information despite that not much was given in the announcement, so let's not waste any more time and jump right in. First, we can talk about the cover art, as that's what struck out to me very quickly. As you can see, we've got an Empire General, we've got some Imperials in the background, but it's more what's at the front. You see those rather interesting looking warriors, where you can see some long spears, some interesting helmets. Those are the Alicante Fellowship, commonly known by the fanbase as a regiment of renown in the Dogs of War army book, which, you know, has been a while since we've had any Dogs of War information, and it looks like this supplement will also have some information regarding the Dogs of War, so let's talk about everything that we know so far, as I feel this could be rather exciting for a lot of my viewers. So we've got a little information regarding the supplement itself, which is as follows. The world is a dangerous place, with the Empire fractured within and threatened by enemies without. It is only wise to learn the skills of a soldier, or to employ those who already have. Some may say that to live by the sword is to die by the sword, and there is truth to this, but in the wilds of the Empire, to refuse to live by the sword is to die by the sword even sooner. Up in Arms provides options and guidance for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay characters who follow warrior careers. It also focuses on abilities that players and GMs can make use to add variety and expertise to the fighting folk of the old world. This is just a little bit of basic information, it's to hype up everything. Those who play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay should then be a bit more excited because obviously this is better for warrior characters and all that. But it's when we start going into the specifics of what this book will contain where things get really interesting. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of a description and we're going to go through everything as some of this stuff is really important. A discussion of the cult of Mamidia, giving the most comprehensive guide yet published to the beliefs and practices of those who worship the goddess of strategy. This is quite important because, well, if you follow, say for example, Dogs of War, or more generally Talians and Estalians, they tend to worship Mamidia a lot, so this is more Dogs of War information. We can find out about any priests, any specific maybe laws of magic that she may have. If you're a Total War Warhammer fan, you should be quite interested in this. Believe me, I'll discuss about this a little bit later, but let's carry on. Soldiers of all stripes detailing the experience of the rank-and-file members of the Empire's glorious state troops, and providing new careers such as the handgunner, halberdier, and greatsword. This is always kind of cool because if you play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, this now gives you some more options. You never know if they might have some new troops in there too that they haven't spoken about yet, which could be rather interesting too. This is a big one. A history of the role of mercenaries in the wars of the old world, including background and rules to support playing Talian characters and other Dogs of War. So it looks like we're going to get some Dogs of War information here, and as we've discussed in previous videos before, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay has been like a new repository for Warhammer lore, and this can be considered canon. We don't know exactly how that's working out yet. There have been rumors that anything here is canon now, so linked up to previous tabletop and possibly new tabletop stuff, which kind of could affect us in the future, so this should be cool. I'd love to know more background stuff regarding Talian stuff, maybe Estalians. You never know what's coming in this book. They specifically mentioned Dogs of War, and you know, Dogs of War haven't really had any new updates in lore for a long time. They had some minor stuff, but the last army book for the Dogs of War was 5th edition, which was a long time ago, and we've all been hearing those rumors about the Dogs of War eventually coming into Total War Warhammer 3, so if this is new lore, this is likely the new lore that we might see in-game. This next one's also pretty cool. A guide to the renowned knightly orders of the Empire, with options for joining circular orders, Templar chapters, or going at it alone as a freelance knight. So we might get some more information regarding the knightly orders. I wonder if they're going to flesh out some of the knightly orders which pretty much had like 1 or 2 sentences. We're going to have to wait and see. It's a rather large book, 144 pages, so hey, this is just me hoping at this point. We don't know until we'll get more information in the future. When it comes to knightly orders, the most that we know of are, of course, the Reichsguard, the Knights of the White Wolf, possibly even the Knights Panther too, but even then, there's not so much information regarding all the others, and there's really cool ones that we could possibly see. An expanded list of weapons and armor, from basic arms such as swords and axes to exotic specialized equipment such as weighted nets and pervasers. So this is going to be quite cool because these are weapons that we've seen in Warhammer Fantasy, maybe even tabletop and all that, but when it comes to the tabletop we haven't seen pervasers since, well, again, 5th edition, so this is going to be really, really interesting. I wonder if we're going to get any new type of stuff, many new type of weaponry. That would be kind of cool, because eventually that could then be used as source material for future minis, or maybe even, say for example, DLC for Total War Warhammer 3. The last bits are some specifics when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, for example, rules for taking cover within vehicles and buildings, and counterpart rules for blowing vehicles and buildings with devastating artillery. Details on the employment of hireling NPCs, including a system for generating individual quirks and work ethics. That sounds really, really cool, to be honest. I play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay in some cases, and this stuff is going to be quite interesting. And finally, optional additional rules for covering new endeavors, alternative approaches to critical injury, mounted combat, uses of advantage, pursuits, and talents. This all sounds really exciting, and it's a pretty big book. I don't think that there's a release date just here, and I think that this is just kind of starting to hype up the stuff and so on, but I believe when something gets announced, it's not too long after a release date is given. I could be wrong there though, so do forgive me if I am wrong. The Dogs of War have been very, very popular throughout Warhammer Fantasy in general. I'm not just talking roleplay, I'm talking tabletop, I'm talking even Total War Warhammer. Many people want to see the Dogs of War brought to light once again, and lore updates coming into effect is quite good. We possibly might get some more information regarding units, maybe some new units. That all could be used as source material for DLC for Warhammer 3. So I'm very hopeful that this could be linked up. That, and you know, it's always good to get some lore updates, especially for a faction which many people just don't know too much about. I'm assuming the grand majority of my viewers at the moment either have never seen their army book because, you know, 5th edition was so long ago it's very hard to actually get a print of it nowadays, or some of you are from back in the day and want to get some new lore and just get a little bit more information regarding something that we didn't really know too much about. I'm imagining that 144 pages, there will be a good chunk dedicated to it. I'm not saying a grand majority or anything, I'm expecting it to be relatively minor. I still don't know exactly what they have planned, but this is really exciting. I can't wait until some more information comes to light. I wonder what they could have planned, but Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay has always had really interesting information, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What are you guys hopeful about? I'm hoping for a little bit of Talion lore, we already know that's coming in. A little bit of a Stallion lore would be kind of cool, especially as Pervase crossbows were more Stallion, weren't they? We do know Dogs of War in general are getting an update, and they did hint to a Araby thing a while back. I'm not sure if this is coming into this supplement or maybe for a future one, but hey, anything that comes into effect will just be cool to read anyway. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion, as I feel like this is going to be quite a hot topic. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.